Here we are, everyone. Welcome to round number 9 now at the TNTR GT3 Series, Division 2. We are at Circuit de la Sarthe, and the lineup is ready. Brian Gallagher on the front row with Todd Lewis, James Sundakos, Anderson Aquendo, Vic Daughtry, Jonathan Jones, Anthony Markmule, Freddie Harrison, Joshua Montfort, and Joey Sisk. Anyway, the race is about to get started. And they're off, the countdown is finished, and everyone is away nice and cleanly there. Doesn't look like anyone got bogged down from the start. And who is that at the front? That is our man, Brian Gallagher. He's leading us now up to the Dunlop curves, and it looks like the Rockefeller Racing Vic Daughtry man got a great start up into second. He's going around the outside, trying to get it done at the curves, but he can't. He's sliding off wide. And he's just dropped back down another position. But Brian still out in front and in his Porsche, racing for Fossil Racing, and he's having an absolute blast of a start, and he'll get on through to the S's onto the Mulsanne straight very shortly. You see Vic Daughtry there just going off in the background, getting a little bit wide, and we've had one of the other Hondas, that's Bravo 23, that is Jonathan Jones. It looks like he's had a little bit of an accident as well, but all together clean start there, and I'm not sure what's going on with Vic Daughtry. I don't know if he's being lagged out a little bit. But as you can see, he's on screen, currently in 6th position. Still leading up the front is Brian, going down the Mulsanne straight up into the first chicane. Let's watch him under braking. Huge long straight, get huge top speeds up through here. And he's got to be careful. He gets the braking zone right. Here he is, he's taking it in. And looks like he's practiced well. And he gets through the first one nice and cleanly. Let's get back to the beginning of the race. Let's watch that the replay from the beginning. And here we are getting everyone underway, lights flashing. And the countdown will begin. And there we are off the start. Look like, yeah, watch the Vic Daughtry here. He gets right up through the middle. And he gets a great start off everyone. But he was a little bit too quick into turn 1. Turn 2 up into the Dunlop curbs there. And he's almost gone flying off wide, and there he goes. See you later, son. Yeah, Brian just did it perfectly. Nothing to complain about. Back to the live action now. Let's see where they are. Where are they now? This is Brian. I think they're just through the second part of the Mulsanne Straight, coming up to Indianapolis and Onage, maybe. Tetra Rouge. That's where they're at. It's a very long lap, almost 4 minutes a lap here, so it's a very long track. No, they are coming up to Mulsanne, and now Indianapolis is up next. Oh, I've just seen someone go absolutely skidding off into the distance. Let's just see if we can find out who that was. It wasn't the Viper. I think it was before that. You can see another car is off there. Anyway, back to the live action. We'll get back to that very shortly. Some good overtakes happening down through, coming up at Indianapolis here. This is Joshua Montfort. He's just been overtaken by Snow Tires, which is Stephen Parsi, driving for Fluid Dynamics. They're having oh, look at Vic Daughtry in the background as well. Montfort off onto Indianapolis's big runoff area, and now Vic Daughtry riding behind the Aston here. These guys are having an absolutely hard time navigating through the track. Back to up here, is this where we saw the cars go flying? It was, and there was our man. That's what happened. You come in on the brakes way too late through there, and it's game over. But look at this, 3-second lead after the first straight. Brian is just absolutely flogging this thing. Fossil Racing will be happy with the setup they've got today for the Porsche. So he's coming up through the Porsche curves and the Ford chicanes now to finish his lap. Coming through the Ford chicane right now, finishing the first lap, and that was almost 5 minutes for that first lap there. So that's 1 lap in 5 minutes. They're not going to get many laps down today. 1 hour enduro race. They will be pitting in probably in about a couple of laps time, which is weird to say. But we just watch on now with Brian here dominating the lead, and he's got absolutely nothing to worry about. Let's go back and check through the order of cars through the list. So there's Anderson Oquendo in second, also for Fossil Racing, doing very well. This is Stephen Parsi for Fluid Dynamics Racing. He's having a good day for the Viper team. Bravo is Jonathan Jones for Honda Racing. They had a good race in Suzuka. Unfortunately, we didn't get to stream that race for you. But yeah, he's in fourth today, so he's in position to maybe get the podium by the end of this. Hopefully he can. Jason DeCoste is up next for Fossil Racing as well. So Porsche's being relegated to Div 2 a little bit this week. Not quite as powerful through the Le Mans circuit. So yeah, very interesting to see a lot of the Porsches there. Vic Daughtry in the background getting a little bit hairy. He's pushing that thing on the limit. He's got to be careful though. He's going to absolutely ruin that car if he's not careful. But yeah, both of them down the Mulsanne straight now, and Freddie Harrison is our next man up. You can see him there. He's not too far off the Porsche in front, so he'll be fighting for a position, getting some good slipstream down here, going up to Tetra Rouge. If I got my track names right, sorry. Yeah, Mulsanne, and then well, it's the Mulsanne straight, so obviously they're coming up to the Mulsanne corner. That's where we saw Joshua Montfort go haywire before, end up in the sandpit. Goodbye to him. Vic Daughtry is our next man on the track. He's back down there a little bit. He's been all over the race track. He got a double podium with his teammate for the Rockefeller Racing Boys last week. Let's see how he goes at Mulsanne corner. He's better this time. Doesn't look quite as smooth as I think he'd like to be, but he got it done, and he'll race up towards Indianapolis now. Joshua Montfort here. He's been off into the walls. He's our 8th position man in the Lamborghini, number 88. And yeah, he'll be hoping to have a better race. I've just realised, I think everyone's names is right, because we've got Cruciferocious Racing. I'm sorry I wrecked that, Joshua, but you've also got the Nutrifax logo on your car. So I'm hoping the document I've been supplied is right, and that is your race team. But yeah, good luck. But look at this, back out in front is Brian Gallagher. Through the Porsche chicanes like nothing else. This car was obviously built for these corners. Named after this car's namesake. Doesn't go too wide there either. A lot of cars like to extend that corner very wide and get a huge advantage. Happened during the real 24-hour race, but Brian's better than that. Through the four chicanes now, keeping up a lot of speed and into the second one before the start-finish line. He'll go across the line now to start lap 2. Again, that was about 4 minutes. Just to show you where everything is at today for timings. These are the current times. So the 4:04 there from Wayflares, a 4:08 coming in for the number 2 man. But yeah, you can see, look how long the lap is. It's absolutely huge. Fastest lap is a 4:04 currently by our man here right now. So he's doing very, very well. There's not much else happening out on track, unfortunately. .408 here. Anderson Oquendo, so he's 4 seconds off the pace. The Viper is expected to do very well down this straight, so we'll stick with him. Stephen Parsi doing pretty well. The TV Performance Viper. Let's watch him here down the Mulsanne straight. He's going to get the slipstream off the back of the Porsche in front. It's going to be a huge advantage for him. We're right on board. Look at the massive sense of speed you get past all the houses and stuff on the left and right. This is actually public road when it's not a racetrack. And then into the first chicane, gets around it nicely. Bollards have been knocked off left and right. Helicopter hovering overhead, giving us the nice shots from the aerial above. I've just lost my words there. We'll continue on with the TFE Viper here. He's not catching at all. He will have a good slipstream, but Anderson Aquendo able to keep just enough distance away and keep the drafting to a minimum here. He will obviously Constantino under braking, partial marshals on the left, and flick the car back left and right again down to the Mulsanne corner. And this is where everyone gets it wrong sometimes. So here he is, he's chasing him, and he's got an opportunity to get up in the second spot here. He doesn't look like he's close enough. Slipstream doesn't seem to be as strong here today, which is interesting. Let's go back down one more. Looks like some action happening here with the Honda guys. And enough said, that's Jason DeCoste. He's chasing down the Honda now. So the slipstream working to great effect for everyone. And this is Jonathan Jones. Is he going to make the corner? I thought he was almost going to flick it out wide. And then back in behind Vic Daughtry. Oh, he's absolutely ruined the Mulsanne corner. We're flying now towards Indianapolis. Jonathan Jones, he's going to have to defend it. This is going to be a hard one. This is a very hard corner to defend. It's even a hard corner to take at the best of times. So under racing conditions, they're going to have to be very careful. Looks like the Honda's been overtaken. The Porsche uses slipstream to huge effect. Indianapolis now on the brakes hard. 90-degree left-hander, and they get it right done. Well done. And then they've got to slow down again for another 90-degree right. It's very easy to misjudge your speed through there. Oh, and I think Jason's just ruined that corner. He's just come off it. Yes, he's hit the wall. And that was game over. Here he is coming in. Missed the apex completely. And I'm not sure. He's just slid out wide. It's given Jonathan Jones all the run he needed to get the overtake done. Back to live action now. His seed car is all beaten and bruised from that. But Stephen Passey's actually caught up to Anderson. Now, through the Ford chicanes, that Viper was on the limit. A lateral sliding going on. So starting lap 4, no one's pitted yet, but was a 404 there by Stephen Passey. Anderson Aquendo still able to just pull away nicely up through the Dunlop curves. Yeah, absolutely, look at the huge gap he's gained just through that one section. The Viper there just isn't able to keep up through the curves. But then once you get to the second half of this track where it's a lot more straight, less technical, that's where the Viper really lives. So they get through the S's now and onto the first part of the Mulsanne straight. Very wide there for the Viper. Got to be careful of track limits. They are checked later on. And here it is. Jonathan Jones, he's still got to deal with Jason DeCoste in that green Porsche. Even though he hit the wall, the Honda just doesn't seem to have the pull down this straight. Let's watch these. Let's watch on board now. So watching from the back of the Honda, watch as he uses the slipstream caused by this Honda car. Look at that. He's just pulling and pulling him in. Jonathan Jones is going to have to be very careful. Oh, he's just hit him. I'm not sure what happened there. Was that under braking? Absolutely, he didn't expect that at all. Just didn't expect that at all. I didn't even expect. Jonathan Jones hits the brakes for the chicane. And Jason DeCoste right up the back end. And somehow Jonathan Jones he's kept great control of the car. Well done, I must say. But that's going to be a little bit of a penalty for Jason DeCoste after that. So obviously, the two guys here have completely different braking points, which is very interesting. But here he is, DeCoste. In 5th right now. The car's looking very bruised. He was in the wall just after Indianapolis. He was in the back of Jonathan Jones. We are on lap 4. Vic Daughtry still racing up behind. But that Porsche just pulls away now. But it is on the straight, so I'd expect the Mercedes to might have a little bit of an advantage at the moment. He's through there fine. Vic Daughtry gets through there fine. Let's head back to the front of the pack and give Brian Gallagher some credit where it's due. He's first. He's almost got 10 seconds, 9.3 seconds now, and just past Indianapolis. So he's down the second half of the track, and he's doing really well, so well done. Qualified first for Division 2, and looks like he'll be finishing first Division 2. Strategy, well, they won't be pitting just yet. It'll be a little bit too early. Maybe in the next 15 minutes we'll see. So the next 3 laps, we should see 1 or 2 cars start to enter the pits. If anyone went in now, I think it'll be a little bit too early. They've got to use tyres and fuel to the end. And yeah, they'd be lucky to have some rubber on those boots if they did it now, that's for sure. Again, Brian not going too wide, being very respectful of track limits. And he'll finish his 4th lap. But here we go. The race is on. Anderson and Quendo and Stephen Parsi now fighting it out through the Porsche curves. Stephen Parsi's looking to the inside, coming up to the Ford chicane, and Anderson and Quendo's going into the pits. I don't know if that was a planned stop. Like I said, it would be very early. Stephen Parsi takes 2nd spot for TFE. Alrighty, so first pit stop, 43 minutes in. I don't know if he meant to do that or not. It looked almost like he misjudged it. So that's him entering there. I'm not sure if he did or not, but anyway, that's what's happening. We've also got another one coming in. Jason DeCosta's in as well. Don't know if he's fixing some damage that he picked up. Vic Daughtry will take 3rd spot for now. But those are very early pit stops. This is not a sprint race. Well, you can see there, Jason DeCoste, not a lot of fuel left, 22%. So maybe they were running high ECU mappings, fuel mappings, where the rest of these guys are probably being a little bit more conservative. Here's Anderson and Quendo now with no tyres. The pit crew forgot to put tyres on the car. That's the funniest thing I've ever seen. That is awesome. He's got no tyres on. I don't know how that Porsche is just gliding perfectly over the surface of the track. It gives us a really good view though of the brake calipers and everything on that car. They do a good job, whoever models the cars. That is hilarious. But he is fighting off Jonathan Jones now down the straight. Jonathan Jones will have the slipstream. Try not to think about why that car doesn't have wheels on. He's gone to the inside line first chicane, braking hard. Anderson Quendo gets the back end out. He's going to control it. And Jonathan Jones has slipped up on the inside, and he's actually helped correct Anderson Quendo's car a little bit. So Jonathan Jones up into 4th spot. 3rd spot, Vic Daughtry at the moment. And Stephen Parsi overall 2nd. And Brian Gallagher in 1st. Through the Mulsanne corner there perfectly. Stephen Parsi not too far behind. 9 seconds. He's got to make up now. Vic Daughtry as well. Jonathan Jones through the 2nd chicane. He's still got that Porsche behind him. Still no tyres on the Porsche. This is Freddie Harrison in the Aston Martin. It says racing for Powerhouse Racing. I hope that's right. Freddie Harrison in 6th spot. He's got no one around him. He's got 13 seconds to Anderson Quendo in front. And 8 seconds to Jason DeCoste behind. So He's got real no challenges right now. Jason DeCoste as well. He's got nothing really to deal with. Joshua Montfort. He's on a race of his own right now. But, you know, if he can just keep it nice and slow and look after those tyres and lap a lot longer, he might make some time up. But good work on slugging it out there in the Lamborghini. Heavy car, full drive as well. Lots of understeer. Can be hard to control at times. But Joshua Montfort doing a good job. Brian Gallagher in first. It's down to 8 seconds now, so he might be on the ECU mappings and being a little bit more conservative on fuel. But will he go into the pits this lap? We're on lap 5. 39 minutes remaining. He is. So those long straights are taking it out of these cars and their fuel especially. You don't usually see people pit this early, but Brian has had to go in. Stephen Parsi, he's had an accident on the way in to the pit lane. That's not good. Here he is. He's entering the pit lane. Did he do it at the last minute? He didn't, and then he just was on the brakes way too late and into the wall there. Anyway, Stephen Parsi's just making it up to his pit box now. Brian Gallagher popping in. Old boots off, new boots on, so new tyres for him as well. There'll be some fuel, I'd imagine. Yes, not a lot though. I don't know if he's made that too short. He is back out in front of everyone. And then we have the rest of the pit crew making it out. Stephen Parsi's also got no tyres now, so there must be some weird glitch happening at Le Mans only, where cars come out of the grid with no tyres. It looks fantastic to watch. Anderson Oquendo, no tyres. And Jason DeCoste still got tyres. He's probably at the pit. Freddie Harrison. Vic Daughtry waiting, getting some fuel. See how it's a lot longer than what we saw Brian do? No, Vic Daughtry's got tyres on. New boots for Freddie here. Let's watch. Fuel, let's see how a lot longer now. He had 4% fuel. He can really afford pretty much, look at this. This is how long it takes to fill up these cars. And Brian was often on the fuel in like 2 seconds. And do we have tyres? We do. So we've got a portion of Viper run around the track without tyres on. As you can see, Brian now being caught up by Stephen Parsi in behind. They have both made their pit stop, even though you wouldn't tell there by the looks of that. Does look pretty cool though. It's just a floating car. That's fun to watch. Anderson Oquendo as well is also another victim of the no tyre glitch. I've never seen this before. And it also looks like it's taken off the back panel, the rear diffuser there. You can see everything moving. Anyway, Jason DeCoste in 4th. He has Jonathan Jones behind him, so I wonder if he's gone into the pit lane yet. Jonathan Jones. It's hard to keep up with everyone sometimes. Enough said. This is PSN. You can see it written on the door there. That's why it says that. Brian Gallagher out in front. The problem with this track is it's so long. And these guys sometimes are not as equally matched as Division 1 is sometimes. We just get these huge gaps in the racing, and everyone's just on their doing their own thing, completing their own stints. So you can see Freddie gets around there, and yeah, there's not a lot going on right now. It's all down to strategy, really. But our leader is still Brian in the Porsche. qualified first here today. He has not relinquished that one spot yet, even after going into the pits. His lead was up to around 9 seconds at one point. It's down to 6, but he is climbing it again. He's pushing hard. I'm wondering if he's going into the pit stop again, because I thought he went short on fuel. And let's watch to see if he enters the pits, which the entry's just here, just behind this camera. No, he doesn't. So he makes it onto the Ford chicane now, and that's another lap for the TNTR racer. As you can see, there's the pits. A very long straight. Oh, it's Stephen Parsi making an absolute mess of the corner. Let's see what happened. He got some oversteer coming out. Did he? I think he did. He's come in. He didn't even jump the corner too much. He's just on the power too soon. Back end flicks out, and he had to control it. We watched the car glide off through the corner. Oh, and Cinequendo in the Dunlop curves too quickly. Little mistakes from them. That's where they will lose their spots. Jason DeCoscar not looking pretty. He's been in the wall a few times. You can see the bumps and dents on the front. It's not going to help his aerodynamic running either, and it's very important here at the Le Mans circuit, Circuit de la Sarthe, because of the two very long straights after this very technical section through the first sector. Because you need all the winglets doing their work to push through the air, create the downforce, cool the car at the same time, push the air where it needs to be, and enable as high speed. Less drag will mean higher top speeds, more drag will mean more downforce, but less top speeds down here. So I don't know if these guys are even able to do the setups, because it is all balance of performance. But yeah, if they were given the opportunity, there would be a whole host of different setups. Now we can see in the background Jonathan Jones getting around Vic Daughtry. Vic Daughtry is swinging left to right to stay within the slipstream of the Honda. Under braking now, they're not going to mess this one up. Jonathan Jones has already had a big accident under braking here today. First chicane done. Vic Daughtry looks to have powered through there a lot better than the NSX. Still in the slipstream, and he'll be looking to make the overtake. We don't want to see behind him, we want to see in front of him. He hasn't made the move yet. He's tucked right up in behind him. They're coming into the braking zone now for the next chicane. Is he going to get it done under braking? He doesn't. The Honda holds out. Vic Daughtry not able to make it. Jonathan Jones doing a wonderful job of defending and attacking at the same time. Vic Daughtry, though, is not giving up. The Rockefeller Racing guy in the blue machine. We're missing the green machine today. That's gone up into Division 1. So well done to them. And to the other guys in Division 1. Hopefully that was a great race. Congratulations to the winner. Now, Mulsanne, corner. Vic Daughtry's had some problems here today. He's got him under control right now. Jonathan Jones, no issues at all. Look at him fly off. But yeah, hopefully Division 1 was fantastic. And thanks to Naz for doing the commentary on that. You do a better job than I, mate. So thanks for all the hard work. He's been around for all the races this season, so he hasn't missed a beat. And he's the man in the know. If you want to know anything about the TNTR series, he pretty much knows the points, where they're at, the qualifying, everything. He's the encyclopedia of TNTR. So yes, that's Division 1. But here in Division 2, Vic Daughtry not giving up. Jonathan Jones, though, not making it easy for the Mercedes driver for Rockefeller Racing. Vic Daughtry racing hard now. Up behind the Honda Racing car, Jonathan Jones still got to defend it. Indianapolis is his next target. trying to get the front camera working. Might be broken. That's why I can't see it. Going through the Porsche curves. Using the downforce to great effect right now. Porsche curves almost looks like Jonathan Choen gets a little bit sideways. Some oversteer coming off the corner. That was scary. And then they'll come up, go past the pit entry and enter the Ford curves. Or the Ford chicanes rather. First a small one. And then, well, first a big one. And then a small one. Inside move from Vic Daughtry. He was very, very opportunistic there, but it's worked. He's got it just done before the start-finish line. Vic Daughtry with an opportunistic move on the inside of Ford chicane. Dunlop curves, will he keep it? Jonathan Jones doesn't want to keep it. He's going to ride around the outside. Vic Daughtry has under brakings and he's riding all along the curves now through the Dunlop curves. And they'll come down the hill through the S's. Let's go back to where he made the opportunistic move. That is so far back in the timeline. I can't believe it. Let's see if we... Look how far back he was at the Porsche curves. So far off him. By the Ford curves, he's made the move. And here he is out in front. Beating Jonathan Jones in the Honda, who's done a fantastic job all day. He was up in 4th at one point, but that is actually taken up by Jason DeCoste right now. So he's been on a charge since the very beginning, lap 8 now. Front though hasn't changed, 8-second lead for Brian here. And then Stephen Parsi in his Viper. 15 seconds off from this man, Anderson Oquendo. Jason DeCoste in 4th. He's also pretty much by himself. Vic Daughtry now getting away from Jonathan Jones behind him. Freddie. Harrison in his Aston Martin. Through the first chicane at the Mulsanne straight. Joshua Montfort as well. Still hasn't given up, so it's good to see. So we're just past the halfway point right now. 7-second lead for Brian Gallagher here in his Porsche. Qualifying first. Still is first. He's already pitted once. Expect to see him in the pit lane again pretty soon. But yeah, he didn't even relinquish the lead. That was a hard word to say. Relinquish. There we go. A lot better. Yeah, he didn't let it go, even in the pits, where everyone else was giving up a spot by taking into the pit lane. Brian didn't. So he's got that much of a lead right now. It's just comfortable for him. He's coming through the pit and he's going to go past it again. I thought he short-timed his fuel as well, interestingly, but doesn't look like he has, because he stayed out. He's lapping around the 4:04 mark, so that's pretty decent. And there's Stephen Parsi. He's just done a 4:05 that lap. 4:05 for Stephen Parsi there. So he's within striking distance, but he's quickly running out of time. But Anderson Oquendo is back into the pits again for the second time. So this track really does eat through the fuel and the tyres. Let's watch. I wouldn't imagine he's not going to get some new boots. He does need them. And there we go. The old one's off. New Michelin's on. Is he going for fuel again? He is. He's not short timing it either. Vic Daughtry's just taken 4th spot on track as he goes past the start-finish line right now. Jonathan Jones, you can see Anderson Oquendo leaving the pits. Vic Daughtry's going to have a race on his hand up to the Dunlop curves. He's going to have the speed too. He's going to go around the outside. Anderson Aquendo lets him go. He wasn't past the safety line on the pit lane exit yet. So sticking within the regulations there. But the race is on, and the Porsche is usually better down the big straight. So let's watch this race. They are racing, but Anderson Aquendo is on his second pit right now. So he's net leading over Vic here for Rockefeller Racing, but the Mercedes he's driving the wheels off that thing. Here we go. Will the Porsche benefit from the slipstream? It can usually stay away from any defending cars. Vic Daughtry taking to the dirt to keep the car behind him outside his slipstream. He knows it's such a huge advantage for those in behind. Under braking, doesn't seem to get any closer. Oh, he's made a meal of that. And they've had a little bit of an accident. And now Anderson Aquendo side by side with Vic Daughtry. Vic Daughtry's way off into the dirt. He's going to want to get back on track. He's back into the slipstream, lights flashing. Don't know if he thought maybe Anderson Aquendo had something to do with it. But as you can see, he wasn't really anywhere near him when it happened. He's going to have to be careful now he doesn't slam up behind the Porsche under braking here. Very close, right. Oh, bumper to bumper stuff. Vic Daughtry is just racing on the edge today. This is where Vic Daughtry made the mistake. I think he's come in way too hot. And Anderson Aquendo's tried to get around him. He's still fighting for position though. The Mulsanne corner. This is where Vic has made a few mistakes today. He's made another one into the sandpit a little bit. He's gonna lose time from that. And Jonathan Jones up in 6th position behind him. He's gonna really enjoy that. As you can see, we're on board with Jonathan Jones right now, and there's the action in front. Vic Daughtry's on board, coming up to Indianapolis. You've got to break into a corner. It's not an easy turn. The cambers in nicely, and then for this one, it's a 90-degree right-hander, and you can totally mess it up, which Vic Daughtry's actually done as we're riding on board. But he's collected it again, and he's remained 5th. We're on lap 9, 20 minutes remaining. Brian Gallagher, just class of his own today. 5.4 seconds. Stephen Parsi it's not too far off though. Through the Dunlop curve is, and the S's. Yeah, you go over the hill, and you go back down through the S-bends here. Through the chicane, then the S's. This is Tetra Rouge he's coming up to, fast right-hander. You need really to ride the curb on the inside a little bit more. But he got through there. And then the Mulsanne straight. Like I said before, these are public roads when it's not a racetrack. So, it's a wide part of the track. It didn't used to have the chicane, for those who aren't old enough. That chicane hasn't always been there, but they've put it in recent years to slow the cars down, and I think even to stop some of these cars lifting up and flying like aeroplanes, because if the air got into the right spots, it was actually flicking cars up and over. If you haven't seen Mark Webber's video on YouTube of him doing that exact thing, go have a look at it. But pit stops are being undertaken right now. Vic Daughtry's in and out. And then we had Freddie Harrison as well. He's only just getting into the pit stops. And Jonathan Jones, who was fighting with Vic Daughtry there for a little bit. I wonder if he put on a little bit more fuel. Freddie Harrison as well. He's been in the wars as well. He's got some bumps and bruises on that car. 19%. Is he going to go long on fuel? He's going to have to go long. Like I said, it's a long lap. Back at the front though, Brian Gallagher. Lap time 4:04, so his time's gone down. So he's pacing it really well. He's just gone through Mulsanne up to Indianapolis now. And then Anaj is that right-hander. That 90-degree right-hander. So this is Indianapolis. And Anaj now. He'll brake for. Turn right. This is it. It's one of the most deceitful corners, I think, on any racetrack, is that corner. Stephen Parsi not too far off in the distance. I wonder if he'll be able to catch him. Will this Porsche decide he's had enough? Has he been able to conserve the fuel long enough? We will find out. Porsche curves now. Looks to be in pretty much good control through here. And he doesn't go too wide here, which is good. Is he going to the pit lane? Yes, he does. I didn't expect him to make it that far, but he's done pretty well. Will Stephen Parsi follow him in? He does, and Stephen stops in time this time. So it is a race for these two to pit in and pit out quicker than the other one. It's a very long pit straight. Here we go. Wheels going on. Fuel. They're both fueling up. A lot of fuel for both the boys. Oh, this is tense. This is it. Wayflez is out. It looks like Wayflez has won that battle. And there comes Stephen Parsi. 2.5 seconds though. Stephen's actually gained at least 2.5 seconds through that pit stop. They both had to pit very long. I don't know if Stephen Parsi though has shortened his stop a little bit to stay within striking distance of the Porsche, but I would imagine that's it for them. Through the S's, Tete to Rouge, and then onto the big straight. 2.8 seconds. That Porsche just flies away from anything. It's almost like Stephen Parsi doesn't have a hope in hell of catching, because as soon as he gets near that Porsche, it just takes off. He's got tyres this time, which is good. I'm not sure what happened before with that weird tyre glitch. It was good to watch. At least it was funny. I don't know if it happened in the other race. I'd like to know, because that was it was bizarre. 2.8 seconds though. The time hasn't really gone up or down any more since the first chicane, so it looks like that gap is safe. Anderson Oquendo was in the pits earlier. 15 minutes remaining, or 16 minutes 20 seconds. And we've got about 3 laps to go. Anderson Oquendo's a little bit too far off first and second right now, 34 seconds. You can see between him and the leader, 31 seconds between him and Stephen. And he's got 18 seconds between him and Jason DeCosta in behind. So if he can just keep this pace up, keep it clean, I think he'll take third spot. He's got no pressure right now. Jason DeCosta though, He's done well to stay fourth all this race. Vic Daughtry, he's up into fifth. Like I said, he did take third spot last race, sprint race at the Red Bull Ring. Both him and Rocky Rockefeller got a double podium, but it doesn't look like it's on the cards today. Jonathan Jones in the Honda. He was looking good for a podium, but I just don't know if that NSX has been able to keep up with the likes of the Porsches that we've seen today. But usually you can run the NSX very long on fuel, so I'm not sure he's been able to take advantage of that perk in this car today. Freddie Harrison and Joshua Montfort, they're on a race of their own right now, but it is important to note they're getting all valuable points, and there's a lot of people that for whatever reason haven't actually made it to the races today. As you can see, we don't have a full grid. I don't even think there's a Division 3 race going on today, so they're going to score huge points for them, and that's good for the overall championship lead. And you got to be in it to win it, so you never know. This might come back and hurt some people later on. This is round 9, but it'll still make a difference. You've still got this and one more round to go. So here we are up the front. Stephen Parsi, 3.4 seconds off Brian Gallagher now. Like I said, that Porsche just pulls away like nothing else. There's nothing he can do, I think, to catch up. Slipstream doesn't seem to be working. He hasn't beat him under pits. The fuel race, I think the Porsche's won that. The Viper's usually got the straight line speed, but it just doesn't look like it does anymore. I don't know if that changed with the performance update. The developers do that sometimes. Very wide there. He's pushing it hard, isn't he? He wants the catch. The Porsche. He's making sure he's using every bit of road. Be careful he doesn't get in trouble for that. There are white lines for a reason on the side of a race track. Called the track limits, and they're called the limits for a reason. Because, yeah, if you go wide through some corners like that, you can actually go through the corner a lot quicker, gain some time, and that's considered gaining an advantage. So, you know, he can be penalised for that. Whether or not he will at this stage of the race where his opponents are so far off, I don't know. And his opponent in front is, well, he's catching him. The thousandths are ticking down, but he hasn't caught a tenth that whole straight. There we go, 1/10 down on the straight. It's not going to be enough, though, to get in front of the Porsche by the end of the race. Lap 12 minutes to go. It's a 4-minute lap. There's probably 2 laps left, or 2.5 laps, but yeah, they won't get the 3rd lap in because they're already halfway around this lap. 4:01. So the time has dropped, and Brian's done a 4-minute. Wow, so they've actually gone quicker than their qualifying times. Can you believe that? So the more practice they're getting around the track, the actually quicker they're going. So these guys could actually be up into Div 1 if they had these times in qualifying. But it's good for Brian. Good for Steven. And Senequendo. He's made time on his teammate Jason DeCoste behind. But he hasn't made any inroads on Stephen Parsi. Jason DeCoste. Vic Daughtry, Jonathan Jones. Looks like he's catching it up through the chicane here. Will he get the slipstream on the McLaren? Oh, that's not a McLaren. The Mercedes. Doesn't look like he's close enough. What's the gap? 1.9 seconds. He should be getting something. I think the slipstream works within at least 2 seconds. I could be wrong, but it used to be at least 2. And they'll charge up towards Indianapolis. Jonathan Jones looks pretty good around there. The gap's wide now to over 2 seconds. And his last lap was a 4:08. So you can see that's 8 seconds a lap. Over a 4-minute lap. That's a lot. Indianapolis. .407 for Vic. Minaj. He doesn't make a mess of it. 3. Running on board now with the leader. Gets to Minaj nicely. You can see his competition in behind him there. On the public roads at the moment. Anderson Aquino has actually had to hit the pit lane up. I wonder if he's got time before Vic Daughtry comes around. It's going to be very close, actually. Looks like no. Anderson Aquino is able to leave the pits whole straight before Vic Daughtry got there. So he had the time. I think that's why he did it. Oh, cold tyres. He's gone wide at the first Dunlop curves. He's going to have to be careful. He's pretty much got 4th in the bag. He's just got to drive the car to the end. Don't break it. Don't break it. Anyway, he goes through the S's now. Through Tetra Rouge next. Onto the big straight. And yeah, like I said, I think we will be probably on to the second last lap. But look at this, actually. Stephen Parsi has made some inroads on the Porsche. It is going to be a huge battle to the end. I didn't think that Viper was going to catch, but it is. It's within a second now. Look at that slipstream. Pull him in. It's on. It's on for young and old right now. Brian Gallagher, he's got a Viper in his rear vision mirror, the biggest it's been all race. Stephen Parsi. He's looking to make a move. He's not led a lap yet, but will he win the race? Charging up towards Indianapolis. Slipstream again. Is in 0.3 seconds. Huge run on the slipstream, and he's got a lot of straight left to go. It looks like we've had a change of leader. 7 minutes to go. Stephen Parsi's taken over the Brian Gallagher, which is he's been leading now for 54 minutes. And he's just hit the sandpit off to the right at Indianapolis through Minaj now. And they'll be racing up towards the Porsche curves, but I don't know if Stephen's just been saving tyres and his ECU settings, but he's turned it up a different level right now. And he's got it done. He's got 6.5 minutes to go. We will actually have 2 laps left. Oh, he's hit the wall through the Porsche curves. He's going to have to be careful he doesn't lose time doing that. But we've got a new leader on lap 13. See how much wider Stephen goes through there. Brian doesn't do that. But that should be okay. Alrighty. Up to the Ford chicanes. There's the last one. Start finish line. He's led the first lap of the race. 4:03. He did a 4:07. I wonder if Brian was in the wall at somewhere, or he'd run a little bit wide. But his pace is down right now. That's a huge change in lap times between the two. Maybe running out of fuel. We'll talk to them in the interviews after the race. So make sure you stick around so they can explain to us exactly what's been happening. But, yeah, very wide again for Stephen Pass as he gets onto the Mulsanne Straight. But his lead is just huge now, 2.6 seconds. And it does not look like the Porsche here, number 98, is going to be able to pull him in. It's just growing on the straight. 2.8, 5, 7, 8, 2.9. Yes, look at that. The Viper's just pulling away. It's going to be heartbreak for him. But he's worked hard. I didn't think he had it in him. I didn't think the Viper had it in him. Really? I don't know where he's pulled it from. I can't wait to talk to him. And he's probably had a hidden engine mode. It'd be the only thing I think that he's done. Anson Aquendo in 4th. He's pitted about 3 times. But Jason Acosta, I think, has benefited from Anson Aquendo having to pit so often. And he's up in 3rd. No, as you can see, both Anson Aquendo and Jason Acosta are within view of each other, so they've also had an overtake at some point. So yeah, he's already ahead of him there. So I don't know where that was happening. So we've had some changes happening on the last lap. So 4:08 for Jason Acosta. 4:05. Maybe Anderson Aquendo is catching up. And there's Jonathan Jones, who's actually behind Vic Daughtry. So Jonathan Jones must be just coming out to the first chicane, and he is. Jason Acosta in 3rd. I think he might have snuck that one in. The lead, though, was our leader for 13 laps. Brian Gallagher overtaken. Lost the lead to the Viper, and the Viper's now almost up the road 4 seconds. I don't know what went wrong. Porsche Kurz, he was hitting the corners right all day. I didn't think the Viper had the engine modes, really. But he's done it. And we will be coming around the Porsche Kurz for the penultimate time. They're about to start the last lap. The lap's a 4-minute lap. There's only 1 minute 56 remaining. So this will be it. Here he goes. Stephen Parsey, Ford chicane. And he'll go across the start-finish line to start the last lap. Lap 15. And he's got a 4.2 second lead. He's looking clean. See lots of marbles built up on the road over the race. Down through the S's and the chicane. He'll navigate round Tetra Rouge for the final time this race. Stays within the limits. On to the Mulsanne Straight. And he'll fly down towards the first chicane. It's right on board with him. With our winner. Well, I expect to be winning this race. Hopefully don't curse him. As I've said that, we've had a last minute pit stop by Jason Acosta. That's going to give Anderson Aquendo the lead for 3rd. Will there be a race to the pit exit? Haven't seen him. Jason Acosta has not emerged. He's just coming out now, so he's gonna be pushing hard to get back up into third, but Anderson Aquendo takes third as Jason Acosta has to hit the pits. So what's the gap? It's almost 5 seconds. Keep an eye on that one. Stephen Parsi, 4.5 seconds. Jonathan Jones is also in, so they've unfortunately the race has run longer than I think they planned. There's confirmation of the final lap, which means Vic Dorchik has actually taken 5th spot. So congratulations, Vic. Unfortunately, Jonathan Jones will finish in 6th, and if he had just gone across the finish line, he probably would have gotten 5th. That is the irony of that. So there's our 7th and 8th place guys, but everyone else still on track is going to be racing. There's only 4 minutes remaining, but they'll get around in time. So they're racing now against the clock and against themselves. Here's Anderson Aquendo. You can see Jason Acosta in the background there. Indianapolis for Stephen. Anaj next. This is it. He just has to keep it on the black stuff. Keep it pointed straight and true. And he'll have the win. Brian Gallagher pushing hard, but it's not going to be enough. I don't know what has happened to him, but the Viper has just come out of nowhere in the last couple of laps, and it's just flogged it to home. Through the Porsche curves now for the final time. He'll be loving it. He'll be loving it. It's been a good race. At least these guys have put on a pretty decent race for us. A very long lap. Strategy is a huge part of this race. 60 minutes gone. 15 laps. And by the end of it, it is Stephen Parsi who will take the checkered flag for the win. Congratulations, checkered flag flies. And there he is. A great win for the Viper. Brian Gallagher takes 2nd spot. He will take solace in knowing he was still on the podium. But 3rd and 4th, still fighting for it. They've got 2 minutes left. This is Anderson Aquendo and Jason Acosta. They will be fighting for it. This is Jason Acosta. I think he's too far behind. They're just coming up, I think, to the Porsche curves now. They're not going to have enough track left. So I think Anderson Aquendo is going to get this. Here he goes. He's done well to take 3rd. His strategies worked better than Jason Acosta, and that's what's helped him today. These cars are equally matched too, so these guys are pretty equally matched on skill and their speed around Circuit de la Sarthe for them to finish so close together. 15 laps. And it is 3rd for Anderson Aquendo with the checkered flag flying. And 4th for Jason Acosta. And there's everyone who's taken the flag. Congratulations to everyone that's finished the race. So that was TNTR Division 2 Round 9 at the Circuit de la Sarthe. Stephen Parsi is our man on pole position, taking the win. And hopefully they will be around for the interviews. So stand by for that. I've just noticed my screen's gone all weird, so I don't even know. I don't think we got the end of the race. So I'll save. I'll have to save the replay, and we'll have to fix that later. This shows you how much I don't look at the screen. I don't know why there's only audio. Jack, if you're still around. I wonder how long in was that? 11:24. So it was not too long ago. Well, apologies for that. I don't know what happened there. Well, I'll try get the podium interviews. We've got absolutely no video because my capture card's died. Here we go. I don't know what's going on with it. Yeah, I don't know. It's not taking in any feed for whatever reason. So anyway, I'll see if I can get interviews at least. And we can fix this up in post. So I don't know if they're doing interviews. Sorry for the video, it died. I can't fix it right now because it won't let me fix it. But I did save the replay, so we'll try and edit the end of the race in for you. I don't know if they're doing interviews because they haven't entered the interview room. Well, I might end it there. Apologies for the video. That's just the way life goes sometimes. I don't seem to have anyone in the interviews. If I have them, I'll record them later and we'll add them in to the post. But if you want to see the end of the race, and if you're still hanging around, yeah, go to TNTR GT Series. The link is in the description. It'll be streamed there later on. So apologies for the end. But my name's Josh. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Apologies about the interruptions today.